Și atunci închide și... Da, negru, un negru. Deci, fete, faci o combinație cu...
Моля всички вече да заемат местата си в залата.
Please take your seats in the hall.
Откъде влизат президентите? На английски. Please everyone take your seats in the hall. Ladies and gentlemen, please be standing for the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Rumen Radev, the President of the Republic of Latvia, Egils Levits, the President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis, and the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda.
Mă risică nu e momentul zi.
Ladies and gentlemen, the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Roman Radev, the President of the Republic of Latvia, Egils Levits, the President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis, and the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda. Welcome to the official handover ceremony of the host of the Three Seas Initiative. I invite the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Mr. Roman Radev, for his statement and handover of the flag and the host.
Please be seated. Уважаеми колеги,
Dear colleagues, dear representatives of the media, I believe that you will agree with me that over these 2 days we have conducted very important meetings and discussions, and also we have achieved important agreements. Today, during the meetings of the 6th summit of the Three Seas Initiative, we adopted a joint declaration of heads of state. It's an expression of our joint political will to work together for the advanced development of our region through an improved energy, transport, connectivity, through stimulation of public-private partnerships, through the introduction of new innovative models for development. During the meeting, we've seen more than 10 heads of states, ministers, heads of governments of member states and of our strategic partnerships, USA, Germany, and the European Commission. Participating were more than 400 companies, which is a great success for such a forum. And it should be pointed out the participation of leading technological giants as Amazon, Google, to highlight their increased attention to the region. For the first time, we've seen the participation of the managing director of the International Monetary Fund and also representatives of countries from the Pacific, from Middle East, and from Western Europe, which is a proof that the initiative has become more recognized not only regionally but also globally. We have achieved an agreement to conclude concurrence with between the agencies for the enhancement of investments, for cooperation between the commercial chambers, which started in Bucharest in 2018. Things that made me really happy as a Bulgarian proposal was the concluded agreement for partnership and the building of partnership network between the innovation agencies of our countries, which is again a proof that the efforts we've been making to work in promising spheres together have started to give results. Bulgaria assumed to host the initiative in a difficult period when we are trying to move from words to action and real results. The fund of the initiative is a unique instrument created to stimulate public-private partnership, to build relations between state agencies, political leaderships of countries, international institutions, commercial chambers, development banks, and of course businesses. And it's now working. Over the last couple of months, we've witnessed the first 3 investments, each one of them in a very critical sphere: transport, energy, and digitalization. And I hope that this enhancements and this dynamics will continue in the future. Of course, we've touched upon important issues related to the mechanisms to improve our work with relation to coordination, interoperability, and decision-making in the initiative. The way we deal with our strategic partners, how to make a better use of all European financial instruments, how to better develop our partnership with our strategic partners and countries outside the initiative, how to better work with international financial institutions. To conclude, I would like to share that the summit in Sofia is a very clear proof that as a result of our political will, of improved coordination, of hard work, the initiative has been developing fast, and we already have real practical results. And it's becoming more and more attractive, not only regionally, but also globally.
President of Latvia, dear Egils, at the very end of the Sofia summit, I am greatly honored and pleased to hand in the 3Cs initiative flag to you. We welcome the Latvia's commitment to hand over the presidency and to be the next host of the initiative. We strongly believe that our Latvian friends will be a lot able to build on initiatives' accomplishments so far. We sincerely wish you health, a lot of energy, and strong will to face all the multiple tasks and challenges, to seize every opportunity and to take advantage of them. Based on our recent decision about the new form of cooperation and managing the initiative, I would like to assure you that my team and Bulgaria will continue supporting you for seamless transition and implementation of our common goals and vision. It is now my honor to hand in the flag to you.
May I invite now the President of the Republic of Latvia, Egils Levits, for his statement.
Thank you, dear Rumen, the President of Bulgaria. Thank you for organizing of this excellent summit with very interesting and forwards-oriented discussions, and with the excellent organization of this big event in Sofia. And we all are very pleased to be these 2 last days in Sofia and to enjoy your leadership here in this summit, and to discuss common interests. A region is first of all an idea of political idea, social idea, and also economical idea. So geographically, we are always here, but as an idea, as a 3Cs initiative, as is a political initiative, it is only since 6 years, and thanks the initiative of our Polish colleague, which started this initiative. So it's a big challenge to host the next summit in Riga. Latvia is a very innovative country, and we are looking forward to introduce new technologies, also new legal experiments, for example, in order to support initiatives economic initiatives, but also technological initiatives. I think we will build on the 6 summits before, last here in Sofia, and before also in Bucharest. Our president of Romania is also here, and starting with Poland, so that we will go a big step forward. And again, many thanks to Bulgaria, to President Radev, to all organizers, and to all participants here in the summit. And I am going home with a lot of interesting new ideas, and we will explore them in Riga next year. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Levits. May I now invite the President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis, for his statement.
President Radev, distinguished presidents, ladies and gentlemen, I was honored to participate in the 6th summit of the 3Seas initiative. After last year's predominantly virtual edition in Estonia, today we've returned to the classic summit format, including for the organization of the Initiatives Business Forum. I would like to thank President Radev for the success of this event, which I also appreciate in view of the fact that this year the decision-making center for the initiatives action will be back in the Black Sea region after the summit and business forum we hosted in Romania in 2018. Today's high-level meeting confirmed the growing importance of cooperation in this format, which supports the economic development of the Central and Southeast European region, enhancing European convergence and cohesion and strengthening transatlantic relations. The instruments currently at the disposal of the initiative, to whose creation Romania made a significant contribution through the Bucharest summit. And I would like to mention here such contributions as the list of priority interconnection projects, the investment fund and the business forum, as well as the network of chambers of commerce in the region. Well, all these are beginning to produce effects. In today's speech, I also showed that the development of a parliamentary level and of a local and regional level of the initiative, complementing its intergovernmental dimension, is welcome. The ultimate objective of all these efforts remains, however, the rigorous implementation of the initiative's priority strategic interconnection projects in the 3 core areas: transport, energy, and digital. We have thus shown that there is a high level of expectation on the part of our citizens, to which the initiative's activities must respond adequately in the coming period. In this context, I reaffirmed the special attention our country pays to the rail-to-sea and Via Carpathia projects as concrete initiatives of major economic importance and with a true strategic value for the region. The added value of the initiative also lies in its ability to support joint efforts to build strategic resilience, ensuring improved interconnectivity, stronger economies, and the prospect for a sustainable and smart development. From this perspective, I took the opportunity today to inform about the inauguration in Romania on the 31st of May of the Euro-Atlantic Resilience Center, which comes as an initiative of our country that contributes to the key objective, that is, building resilience. Against this background, It doesn't come as a surprise that there is growing interest in the initiative's activities from an ever-increasing number of states belonging to the transatlantic community, which interest Romania welcomes and supports. Today's results thus confirm the validity of the objectives successfully agreed on at the Bucharest summit in 2018. Their implementation has been continued through the present summit in Sofia. Romania remains firmly committed to the initiative through pragmatic action and will further support concrete solutions within the initiative, solutions that will contribute to bridging gaps and strengthening resilience in the region to the benefit of the prosperity of our citizens. I wish President Levits every success in organizing the next summit. Thank you.
Johannes, and may I invite now for the closing remarks and statement the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda. Mr. President.
Szanowni Panowie Prezydenci.
Distinguished Presidents, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all honorable guests, all friends of the Three Seas Initiative. I'm really delighted that we have been able to meet here in Sofia at the 6th Three Seas Summit, and for another time we have been able to discuss very seriously and very in-depth about our integration and our cooperation, first and foremost in developing our infrastructure and in effect also in developing our economies. And as a result, which is hugely important to me, these activities are enhancing living standards for the citizens in our countries. A very warm thank you to you, Mr. President Rumen Radev, the President of Bulgaria, for organizing the meeting at a very high level indeed. The organization is excellent. And you have found an excellent venue for us for this meeting. The conditions are really good. So we have been provided with everything that we need to work well. I'm even more delighted having said that last year in Estonia, the summit was very limited. Due to the coronavirus pandemic, that summit was not held under the normal format, under the usual scenario. So we worked by remote connections. But nevertheless, I was very happy and very proud to see this high level of determination among the heads of state and government of the Three Seas countries. We were able to meet, though the conditions were very difficult, though every one of us had very important issues connected with providing life and securing health and life to the citizens due to the pandemic. Today we met in a much better and more convenient formula. Over the last 2 days, we have discussed very thoroughly. We have been very optimistic, and I'm happy to see in all the Three Seas countries, in all the strategic partners of the Three Seas countries and friends of the Three Seas countries, as well as the guests, I can see optimism and the will to act for the sake of common development, looking from the perspective of the coronavirus pandemic, which I do hope is coming to an end. Let me say the following. In a sense, ladies and gentlemen, whenever we say that the cooperation should be strengthened among the countries, that the production chains should be shortened, supply chains as well, that we should reinstate production capacities back to Europe so that Europe becomes once again a great factory to make Europe self-sufficient. Having said that, one can add that the Three Seas is an avant-garde today because we started this kind of thinking, this kind of acting before somebody even thought that the coronavirus pandemic could come upon us. Back then, we started to think about the development, looking at our situation within the European Union, understanding that when we went from the Iron Curtain, we lagged behind in our development, behind the countries of Western Europe. And then we understood we had to catch up as soon as possible in the development with Western Europe. And by doing that, we wanted to achieve a true cohesion within the European Union. We wanted to provide exactly the same conditions everywhere, to live, to conduct business activity, to develop yourself. We understood that we had to tighten cooperation among our countries and to fill the gaps, as was said just a moment ago by the President of Romania, Mr. Klaus Iohannis. And we started to go down that path. We started to coordinate our efforts and discuss what more we needed. At the beginning, our 3Cs initiative was just starting. It was crawling, we can say, back in 2015. I remember the very first meeting back in New York in the margins of the United Nations General Assembly. And today it is fair to say that despite the coronavirus pandemic, it is flourishing. The presence of President Joe Biden yesterday and today the presence of one of his representatives during our deliberations. The statement of the representatives of the United States, the presence of the President of the Federal Republic of Germany at yesterday's business forum, and today the statement of the foreign minister, the statement of the representative of the government of Japan, of the government of France, all of that demonstrates that our partners, whose economies are great global economies, can see a huge potential in our cooperation, a potential which we have been saying is an objective potential, because 3Cs brings together 120 million inhabitants of the European Union. The 3Cs stands today for a large portion of the economic development of Europe, and it is the most dynamically developing economy. And perhaps this huge interest in the 3Cs shown by our partners is connected with the fact that we have got excellent forecasts developed by the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. It is fair to say that because if the economic growth in the 3Cs forecast by those institutions is between 4 and 4.8% of GDP, and in my country, in Poland, it is supposed to reach more than 5% in 2021, then one has to say that if you look at these data and at what came upon us over the last 2 years is absolutely spectacular. And if the forecasts come true, if we are able to catch up with those prognoses, then we can say that our development dynamics is huge. It is not only continuing, but it is developing first and foremost, which is of huge importance. I'm happy that I think it is clear for everyone that the cooperation within the 3Cs, that tightening of links between our countries in the European Union, but also in our central part of Europe, brings tangible results for all our countries and for all our societies. And I do hope that in the next couple of years, even if somebody is not very much interested in politics, and even if they haven't heard much about the 3Cs initiative, I'm speaking about our citizens, I hope that those people will be able to enjoy new roads, thanks to which they will be able to travel in our part of Europe from the north to the south. They will be able to use new railway lines. And perhaps though they may not even know that thanks to the interconnectors which are being built and other gas connections, they're able to use the gas all the time. There were crises some time ago, but somehow those crises omitted them because we have been able to secure gas deliveries and connections through our cooperation. I am delighted that we are going along this path because I believe that this precisely contributes to our fast development and to the strengthening of our security. For example, energy security. Thank you to Mr. President of Bulgaria for working out together with all the member states of the 3Cs initiative a common declaration along with this very important piece saying that between the state which is currently in presidency and the country which is taking over the presidency, there will be a more close cooperation established to make sure that the next summit is well prepared, to make sure that throughout the whole year, between the two successive summits of the 3Cs initiative, one can take planned actions according to a concrete scenario, which we dubbed Vademecum, through the agenda or calendar of individual events, which is going to be developed in advance. This puts in order our cooperation, and I firmly believe that also for the future it will make us function even better, even more efficiently, that the summits will allow us also to take stock peacefully, one by one, according to the plan, everything that was decided in the preceding period, which was supposed to be implemented or which should have been implemented in a given year. I'm hugely delighted with all these elements, and my warm thank you once again to all of you, presidents, to the heads of governments, to the ministers for your participation in this meeting. I'm grateful to the President of Latvia, to Mr. Egils Levits. Thank you, sir, for accepting the presidency in the 3 Seas initiative for the next year. I do hope that we will be equally optimistic next year when we meet in 1 year's time in Riga or in any other place indicated by you, Mr. President, as the host. And once again, thank you, Mr. President Roman Radev, for the excellent organization of our 2-day-long meeting. Indeed, we had a very powerful representation of the business, not only from the 3 Seas countries, but also from other states, the states who are friends with the 3 Seas. We also had our strategic partners with us. I myself had a meeting with Polish business people yesterday, and they told me about very fruitful and interesting discussions they had. They were telling me about the prospective contracts they're about to conclude and the business contacts they have been able to establish. And they praised, Mr. President, this event and the organization of the event. It is my pleasure to convey these words to you. And once again, thank you so much to all the organizers, to you, Mr. President, to all the staff, to all the team of Mr. President, who made a huge work, and we were able to see it with our own eyes. Thank you to all of you, presidents, prime ministers, and ministers, for your participation in the summit. And I do hope that, as I said, we will be equally optimistic, and we will see each other in equally good mood in 1 year's time in Latvia. Thank you.
Dziękuję, panie prezydencie. With this, we will now open for questions from the accredited media representatives. The questions will be asked from microphones at both ends of the hall. Elena Savova, Bulgarian News Agency, Българска телеграфна агенция. Госпожо Savova.
Благодаря. Господа президенти.
Dear Presidents, hello. My question is, what will be the priorities during the chairmanship of Latvia of the initiative 3 Seas?
Thank you for the question. We have spoken with President Radev about the next steps which should be done after Sofia meeting, because we are going, as President Duda said, step by step, meeting by meeting, summit by summit. And of course, the achievements till now in Sofia are very considerable. I think that we can base our Riga summit on the achievements of the previous summits, but we will stress the private investments, which is very important, because, of course, public investments and 3 Seas Initiative Fund is very important tool for our initiative, but is not enough. It is by no way enough. And this would be one of our goals to make our region attractive for more investments. Not only investments as such, but investments in specific infrastructure projects which are in the focus of our initiative. And I will also add that we have in this Sofia meeting learned that it would be also from beneficiary to involve in to a certain way also the civic society, the public, especially the young people, also in order to promote the idea. As I said previously, a region geographically is always there, but a region which is in the mind of the people. This is an idea, and this idea of Three Seas initiative should be promoted and deepened also by participation of a wider public, especially young people. It could be, so to say, added value of our Riga summit next year, also to look concretely how to attract our region for private investments, how to strengthen the public Three Seas Initiative Fund, and also how to involve wider public in this idea of our region, to promote our region as a special part of Europe, as a special part of the European Union.
Jacqueline Skowronska, TVP Info, Polska.
Good morning, Presidents. I would like to ask my question to President Andrzej Duda. Mr. President, speaking about 2015, when it was precisely you, together with Madam President of Croatia, when both of you launched the Three Seas, it was still a project. Did you expect back then that this initiative would achieve such a high rank, such a high status? And how do you see the perspectives of future development of the Three Seas initiative to make sure that it is not only a big political project, which we have been discussing today, but to make sure that it is also a regional project and a local project? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, well, of course, in 2015, when I first met back then as the freshly elected President of the Republic of Poland, that was exactly in September, when I met back then with the President of Croatia, Mrs. Kolinda Grabar-Kitarovic, we mainly talked about the energy cooperation. Madam President told me about the LNG terminal on the island of Kirk, which Croatia was planning to build. I informed her about our construction of the LNG terminal in Świnoujście, which was about to be completed, and we were discussing how to connect our gas grids to increase energy security of ourselves and of our part of Europe. And of course, none of us could have expected back then that this project would develop in such a remarkable way. But I can say something more. In 2016, when we first met at a bigger Three Seas summit in Dubrovnik, we were invited precisely by Madam President of Croatia. And this was mentioned today by Mr. Borut Pahor, the President of Slovenia, during his intervention at our meeting. None of us, as he said, could have expected that we are going to develop such tight cooperation which would attract the biggest economic powerhouses of this world. And indeed, this is not only a huge reason for satisfaction, but first and foremost, I would say that I draw one conclusion from that. There is a big hope. It makes me very hopeful that our part of Europe will develop in the future. It shows that it is not only our dream, it is not only our prediction that we will experience a dynamic development because we are able to tackle it as societies, as countries, but it makes me very hopeful because also our big partners who calculate every single euro and dollar, they are also able to see this huge potential, and they believe that this potential is going to translate into very concrete development elements, which as a result will generate very concrete economic results. And this precisely makes me very optimistic. It also fills me with great hope for the future, that we are going to achieve what I have just said, that we will realistically increase the living standards for the citizens of our countries, because I believe this is our biggest duty as presidents of the countries, as the ones who were entrusted on democratic principles the responsibility for the state matters, both internally as well as in terms of positioning the state in the international arena. So for me, this Three Seas cooperation constitutes also a major element of the development of the European Union. This is something I always stress, because in the beginning, there were voices which tried to say that this project was aimed at some kind of weakening of the European Union, of dividing the European Union. Well, that was a big misconception. Quite on the contrary. Every single country of us receives EU funds as part of the cohesion policy. Why? In order to make Europe coherent as far as development is concerned, so that the representatives of business from France, from Spain, from Germany, so that they can also have better conditions to invest and to conduct their business activities, to pursue their transport activity, trade activity in the areas of our countries. Having said that, this contributes to the development of the entire European Union. This is the idea behind it. Through our development, we are also developing the European Union by building our prosperity and wealth of our societies, by developing infrastructure links. We are at the same time developing the whole of Europe. And it's hard for me to give you a more positive example of European cooperation than this, what we are doing within the 3 Seas initiative. So it's fair to say that I'm very optimistic in this respect. And once again, thank you, Presidents, for that.
Yeah, the Romanian National Television.
Bună ziua, o întrebare pentru președinte.
A question for Mr. Klaus Johannes. Could you please tell us if during this summit you've identified new financing sources for funding projects such as Via Carpathia and Rail to Sea? And should we expect a speedy completion of these projects in the future based on this funding? Thank you. It's obvious that the investment fund was the proper step to take. We are still expecting that everyone, and I mean the states participating in the initiative, contribute to this fund. However, we must be realistic. The fund in itself will not be able to finance big infrastructure and interconnectivity projects. As I've underlined in my statement, I think we should pay attention to these kind of projects, because that's why we've created this initiative. We wanted to create infrastructure connections and energy and then digital connection on the north-south axis. We have good news, however. The fund is ever growing. There are ongoing investments. However, for big infrastructure projects, we need a special approach. We are committed to it, and we know that we also need a designing side, but also an investment fund. And this financing will obviously rely on the national contributions. European contributions will play an important part, of course, but also contributions coming from other funds. And all these aspects will be discussed and become more concrete in the coming years.
My question to the Bulgarian President. Mr. President, the priorities of the Bulgarian chairmanship was education, science and innovations, and also the geographical expansion of the initiative. How do you assess after the today's summit? Is there serious development in this area? And my second question is, from now on, the initiative, what is the spheres that you should focus on in terms of the 3 Seas initiative? My firm conviction is that whatever the financial instruments we use for the social and economic convergence between Eastern and Western Europe, we cannot achieve this goal without getting closer in education and science, because education and science is our future. Without them being of high quality, no competitive economy can be achieved. And as a result, no high standard of living can be achieved. That's why Bulgaria proposed this priority, to seek convergence and connectivity, not only in infrastructure, but in technologies, innovations, in science and education. That is why I'm happy that at this forum, over these 2 days, we have achieved an agreement on the building of partnership between the innovation agencies of our countries. I believe this is a very good sign, a very big sign for the future, a big sign for our young people to be able to allow them to develop their potential in our countries. And during my talk with the President of Latvia, we shared our common concern that both countries, not only Bulgaria and Latvia, almost all countries in the region that are member states of this initiative, we face a big challenge of a demographic crisis. The most active young people are leaving our countries, and we must show them that they have a future in our countries by creating conditions for them to develop their potential in these countries. That is why this partnership network of these agencies from now on will cover our universities, our R&D centers, to enable them to work together, to set aside several priorities as tasks for our young people to work together and to conduct R&D in their framework. And this will be our contribution to their future. And this partnership has a potential to guarantee the development of our competitiveness in the region, in line with European policies of the development of green economy and smart economy to achieve a high level of living for our citizens. As you know, and all colleagues have touched on this, our needs are huge and the resources are limited. To be efficient, we need to introduce smart solutions, innovative models to make the best of these resources and to achieve quality development. An example, you know, in Bulgaria it is modern to talk about highways. I would like to see the same standards as quality, as price, as sustainability, as reliability and security in Bulgarian highways compared to what we see in Romania and Poland and Latvia and Austria. Why can't we work together to develop unified standards of quality and security? It's an important approach to create better conditions for our citizens. With respect to the expansion of the geographical coverage, yes, in this solution we proposed this, and I'm happy that the President of Greece was accepted as a ghost unanimously. In this vision, we are looking for new opportunities for the development of the initiative with more openness, with more collaboration, with more activities and cooperation with our partners and neighbors. There is no logic for this initiative in which we're talking about connectivity as a priority to be limited by our southern border, having in mind that this border is crossed by very important energy, transport, and digital pathways. Why can't we take advantage of the opportunities mutually beneficial? Because our neighbor Greece is a southern corridor, has 2 terminals for LNG, and huge capacity of its ports, and its huge capacity in information technologies. You know, Microsoft is planning an investment there in the amount of $1 billion for the creation of a huge database. So we're all interested in the development of this partnership. What do I see as the development of the initiative in the future. We have discussed our vision of this future among the heads of state and government. It's very important to be united, to show unity in the name of important priorities, in the name of important values, because only this can we achieve trust from investors, from close and faraway countries, from partners from all over the world. I would like to draw attention to yesterday's address by President Biden, who focused our attention on strengthening our democracies and efficient fight against corruption. This means that alongside infrastructure, we should be working to strengthen our rule of law, to strengthen more efficient methods of fight against corruption, to create conditions for a better, more freedom for the media, because where media is free, there is prosperity and much less levels of corruption. Where the media are limited, we have poverty, we have social inequality, we have high levels of corruption. This is our duty as heads of state and government, as who have participated in this summit, to think responsibly in this area, how to strengthen our democracies. The better conditions we create through connectivity in terms of quality of life and standard of life, this will create a trust and confidence in us in terms of strategic investments on behalf of our partners. And this is the foundation for the prosperity and security of our region. Thank you, Mr. President.
President Iohannis, President Radev. With this, the official press conference of the 3Cs Summit has come to a close. Now, the presidents will take part jointly in the validation of the official commemorative post stamp of the 3Cs Summit and Business Forum, Sofia, July 2021. May I now invite to the stage the Minister of Transportation, Information Technologies and Communications, Mr. Georgi Todorov, and the Chief Executive of the Bulgarian Post, Mr. Derian Daneshki, to validate the official commemorative post stamp of the summit. Minister, Chief Executive, please. Ladies and gentlemen, please be standing for the President of the Republic of Bulgaria, Rumen Radev, the President of the Republic of Latvia, Egius Levits, the President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis, and the President of the Republic of Poland, Andrzej Duda.